You're listening to another Woodshop podcast, the okayest podcast of its type. Your hosts are Daniel Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks, Peter Kapar of Petree's Workshop, and Braden Boakes of Littlebug Woodworking. You can find them as well as the podcast on your favorite social media channels.
Welcome to episode 222, the 222 of another Woodshop podcast, where this week we are sad to announce that this is our very last episode before we go to Maker Camp, where we'll celebrate the end of the Maker year with a weekend of making, partying, and karaoke in the Catskills Mountains. And then we'll after pretending that Christmas doesn't exist till after Maker Camp, we'll go into our shops on Tuesday scrambling to make stuff for the holidays. But that's a problem for 2 weeks from you now. But now you. Yeah, that. What's up, boys?
That's future Braden problem.
That's future Peter problem. Screw that guy, am I right?
That dude sucks.
You'll figure it out.
Future Dan is current Dan, though.
Dan is our constant. He is our rock. He is how we know. He's how we know that things are good, because Dan is here. What's up, Dan?
I have a body like the Rock. When I say the Rock, I mean like a round river rock.
Yeah, you're like a sandstone,
smoothed by attrition.
Dan's tough like a castle made of sand.
Yep.
That's why I measure everything on a parameter of actually using my Danometer.
Oh,
like a thermometer for like good and bad.
Well, you know who peaks and even breaks the Danometer?
Our patrons.
Always picks up what I'm putting down. I love it.
Smelling what you're stepping in, Pete.
Guys, we have 2 new patrons. I want to give
new patrons
a special welcome shout out to Nate Ricard and Laura Miller from Millerville Woods.
Hugs. Digi-hugs.
Thank you
for
joining
I like Digi-hugs. So warm and bitty.
Is that nerd talk? Digi-hugs?
Digi-hugs? Yeah.
It wasn't, but then it became.
I see. Let's get away from the nerd talk and talk about our very cool VIP patrons.
Yay.
And we have a lot of them. So buckle up, Buttercup. They are Jeremy Claybaugh, Mike from Woodwork and Weld, Jake Miller from a Sweet Shop. Whew. Talk your tea to me at Maker Camp. That is Alex Adams. John Herbolsheimer, that's John from Living Lath Woodworks. Jared LaPuma from LL Builds. Tyler Booth from Temecula Yard Games. Henry Lutens from Manfreda Wood. Scotty from Elevated Wood Design. Charlie Coons from Stubby K Studio. Justin Frazier, Frazier Canyon Woodworks. Sarah Goldstein with Rosie's Woodshop. Michael at Gillette Woodworks. El Jefe from Maker's Way. Victor at Wim Designs. Brandon Bowes from Nick Brim Woodworking. Max and Liz Reed from Reed Design Co. Bill Burkle at WTB Woodworking. Keep your ear close to the brimstone for Maker News. No. Sponsor? I botched that.
Yeah, are you still reading a patron name? Is that a very long, intricate patron name? Because they've done that to us before.
Don't worry. I'm going to cut all this out.
No,
and we're starting right back with Bill Burkle from WTB Woodworking, Jake Coneen at Dobby's Craft House. Matt Everhart is still with us in the form of Patrick Ginsel. Ed Mancini from Mancini Woodworking. Chris at Chris Will Make. Scott Shirk from Red Leg Custom Woodworks. Max and Mindy Coons from Stubby K Studio. Justin Bailey at Campfire Woodworks. And Kyle at Fornanza Design Co. Those are all the VIP patrons.
You guys are the Baha best.
I will definitely be cutting out that flub because it was awful.
All right. The last one you read, by the way, which would be the funniest thing for one of our patrons to change their name to, and that's all of our patrons. Pete, like with a
Oh my
question
God.
mark. And just,
Don't give them any
I'll
ideas.
start talking.
Don't give them any
The way you read that last one, I'm like, is the last one just that phrase, or are you actually done?
No, I was done. I'm
Oh
sorry.
my God. Like, and that's all of our patrons. Braden from Live and Laugh Woodworks. You guys are a riot. I love it.
Or just in the middle. I could see Patrick or Nick doing something like that. Or Alex.
Yeah. Or any of the other shenanigans that we call patrons.
Oh, shenanigans.
Oh,
If you want to
shenanigans.
join all the shenanigans that our patrons are up to, you can go over to Another Woodshop Podcast. Nope. You can go to patreon.com/Another Woodshop Podcast. There we go.
Nailed
I
it.
can't talk this week. Or any week, really. But this week
Dan's
especially.
crushing his first episode.
I need more coffee, you guys.
It's 222. It's the 220th second.
It's the 222 curse.
Dose.
Hey, 2 for each one of us, okay? But guys.
What
We have a giveaway.
and
We
we're
do.
giveaways.
Yeah, we have a giveaway because we had a last minute sponsor drop in that we're really excited about, and we're also a little bummed out about because we couldn't swing this trip this year. And I think we're definitely going to try to swing it next year. And that is the Texas Woodworking Festival. They reached out to us and they want to give away a ticket, the Education Pass, Education Pass. That's how it's spelled. It's all caps. It's the hands-on, basically like a maker camp. You got the hands-on. This is you can go to any class, you interact with all the makers. This festival happens on the 9th and the 10th of November. So in about a month and change at the Palmer Event Center in Austin, Texas. And if you don't know Austin, Texas, best barbecue, second best barbecue in the world. Aside from
In New Jersey.
barbecue. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Great barbecue, a lot of pubs. Actually, we learned of one of the founding stories when we were on the phone with the founder. They shut down a brewery, got kicked out by the cops because the event got too big when they were trying to throw together a maker meetup, and that turned into the Texas Woodworking Festival. But on a serious note, they're featuring woodworking retailers, makers, manufacturers. You'll get to interact with lumber yards, woodworking organizations, content creators. There's classes, furniture makers. There's so much stuff there. And of course, there's going to be live music, delicious food. And again, food is big there. And you got me there, cold beer. They specified cold, which I appreciate. So make sure to go ahead.
When we were on the phone with him, he also said tacos. Just saying.
Tacos were mentioned. Yeah. So pretty excited about that. But again, that event is November 9th and 10th. And if you want a chance to win a ticket, you still got to fly yourself out there and get a hotel room unless you're local. Make sure to listen to this episode. Dan's going to drop a super secret code phrase. Also, you can listen to the pre-show and also drop for our patrons. So it's another reason to be a patron. And we will announce the winner when we're all together next Thursday at Maker Camp, or at least at my house for Maker Camp. We're going to do a little live. We'll do a little post and we'll announce the winner and you guys will all know.
And I don't know why you would be listening to this episode and not last week's episode.
Right.
But if you happen to miss last week's episode, we gave a secret code phrase in that episode as well. So
there you go.
That
You have-
episode, this pre-show that we just did, and this episode,
There's three chances. So we got last week's episode, the pre-show this week, and this week's episode. That's carry the 2 plus 5. The 3 chances to win. And that's it. Yeah. There's a super secret code phrase that you'll email to awpgiveaway@gmail.com. And if you, let's say, you're like, I don't like gambling, I'm not going to enter. I just want to buy the ticket. Or you find out next week that, you know what, I want to go, but I didn't win that ticket. Well, guess what? Good news is you can use code AWP10 for 10% off of your ticket. Daily passes start at $20 and the hands-on is $275. So AWP10, go to texaswoodworkingfestival.com to get your ticket.
And Pete, we were talking before the episode too. If you can't make it, they do offer something. It is sold out on their site. I forgot to mention that when we were talking about it, but they offer a digital pass, which means if you can't make it, you'll get the videos of all of the events, which is pretty dope. I was actually talking about how awesome that is. So
kind of cool to check out in the future if you're like, hey, definitely can't make it this year, but I want to see the content. Digital pass, baby. I wish every conference had that.
Could you get beer and tacos through the digital pass?
Not through it, but
No. I don't know. You never know, but they might add like a DoorDash thing at the end.
A DoorDash button?
Yeah, just like you can get some beer and pizza.
They just ship it in a loose box, just taco
In a
everywhere.
bag. It's like milk in Canada.
Beer
It's
in
just-
in a Ziploc
It's in
bag.
a bag. Yeah, so definitely check that out because that'd be awesome. And I'm kind of bummed that we can't go this year, guys.
Oh, well, why do we keep finding these cool things right before they happen?
Why do we have jobs? Right?
Why?
The worst.
You know what?
Absolute worst.
This is
Let me
awkward.
get a piece of paper. I, Peter Kapar, resign my position effective. And then is there an address I should mail this to, or
Yes. Yeah. I'll give it to you in a post show.
123 New Jersey Road.
I was trying to think of something funny, and I'm like, I got nothing. I got no address.
wait a minute, this is Wrigley Field.
It's like when you ask Peter Griffin what his name is, and he sees a pee on a table, a girl crying, so he says tear, and then he sees a griffin fly by, and he goes, P. Tear Griffin. Damn it! Like no matter what, I would just tell you my address. All right, and then the other exciting thing is another maker event. I mean, obviously we got Maker Camp next week, but in a month we have one more. But there's like constantly something happening. I kind of love October through November because there's all these events that have started popping up. So Bill Burkle, one of our patrons, is opening up a new storefront. WTB Woodworking is opening up this place, and based on what I'm seeing on his Instagram, it's kind of awesome. They're essentially, he's been selling like milling his own slabs. He's kiln drying them. He's got a full wood shop there offering CNC services, and he's now expanding it to a full retail storefront. And we are doing a maker meetup at the event. So there's going to be Rubio, SawStop, Fuji sprayers, Festool, Bits and Bits, Chillpoxy, and more. They're still trying to lock down a couple different brands that are going to be offered at the place. And honestly, it's kind of badass. Like I say this, I think I said this last time. I was expecting this to be like kind of like a chill thing, small little storefront that a milling and woodworking place has. Like most lumber yards, they sell a little glue, they sell whatever. No, Bill's going nuts. Like there's full walls of stuff. So that's gonna be happening.
I heard he's got Daft Punk DJing.
That is unconfirmed, but it's very likely they do live in New Jersey.
I heard
So
he
very
was going to
close.
get Diddy, but something happened.
He didn't.
but he slipped on by.
Yeah. So October 26th from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. We're going to be doing this event. There's going to be barbecue food. So you got hot dogs, you got burgers, you get free shirts with your purchase, and it's going to be a grand old time. And I'm going to be there. The guys aren't because they don't love me. They don't want to fly out to Jersey, but I will be there.
I'm flying out to Jersey like in 4 days.
Yeah. 4 days we check in.
Oh, one time, once a month. Okay, I see how it is.
When was the last
Like you
time you came
don't
to
love
Nebraska?
me anymore.
I mean,
Okay.
we're there for like 2 weeks straight. My wife's going to forget what I look like.
Basically, yeah. You guys are getting so early and so leaving so late.
Aretha's already started to describe herself as a single mother.
Oh. Oh no! But anyways, guys, check out that event. It's gonna be a blast. And
Check out
that is all.
Aretha's GoFundMe as a single mother.
Go husband me. She's gonna be on like the next like Bachelorette. Like, yeah, my husband's still in a picture. He's just somewhere in Texas at a woodworking festival.
Texas, New York. Who knows where he's at? He never comes home.
He's just somewhere with Dan, his other.
I mean, that's a great way to describe Dan. His other. Dan's my other.
If anybody were to look at like my Google Maps where it like tracks where you are throughout the day, I disappear sometimes from my home and I drive across town at like 1 o'clock in the morning, which would look suspicious.
Oh, he's cheating. He's cheating.
Except
Who are
I'm
you
driving.
f***ing?
Except I'm driving to a man's house every single time.
Oh
And
no! Oh no!
and it's
Who are you?
Dan.
f***ing?
I want part of this. Okay.
I gotta
Dan.
say, Dan's
It's
gotta
Dan.
have some like he's just magic because like our wives just don't mind him. It's like like you look at Dan
No,
and you
they're
go,
like,
they're just
he's
like
no
they're
threat.
like, oh,
He's no threat.
no, it's not even that. They're just like, oh, he spends every Thursday with this man called Dan, and that's okay, and it's fine. I'm like, what? What?
Juniper and Gabby are going to have to just start referring to Dan as Uncle Dan
I mean, it's already Uncle Dan.
or Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
I will not appease the stolen valor. I can't do it.
No. Yeah, yeah. Listen.
No.
Stay in your
That's
lane,
Lieutenant. That's Lieutenant. This is Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
Sergeant Dan.
You ain't got no scraps, Lieutenant Dan.
I'm trying to think of like a naval rank that might be kind of to me Seaman Dan, or I don't know.
Hey, it's C person Dan.
Is this still the sponsor read?
No, we're past it.
Okay.
Guys, go to those 2 events. It's awesome. We're all for
Just
maker
go.
events. Honestly, I wish we just were able to go to these events like all year round. That's why I'm so jealous of like Ethan. He just goes to every event he just happens to be at. Half of them he MCs. I'm like,
I want to figure out how to make my job. Yeah, I want to figure out how to make my job attendee.
why not me?
Pick me.
Yeah,
Choose
pick me.
Why
Love
not me?
Me.
Oh,
Grey's Anatomy.
why not me? All right, guys. I know we're on like a high note right now, and I want to keep it on a high note, a positive, but this is an important thing to bring up. Sorry, I didn't clear this with you guys ahead of time,
Oh.
but
Spay and neuter your pets.
no, this is a little serious.
No.
I just want to say, like, our heart goes out to everyone that's been in this hurricane that hit last week, because a lot of people are either without power. Entire workshops in Asheville, North Carolina, got just wiped off the face of the planet.
Not just workshops, homes,
Like
lives.
homes as well. But I'm trying to obviously shout out our maker community, but like I see Izzy and John are without power right now. Luckily, Jake from a sweet shop, he just got slammed with a little bit of rain, so that wasn't too bad. But there's a lot of people out there right now suffering with no power, no electricity, no gas. So hearts to you. Our hearts go out to you. I'm sorry, kind of all over the place, but it's been rough. I've been following it on Instagram and TikTok, and it's sad. And I really hope everyone's back on their feet very, very soon. So, didn't mean to bring down the mood, but we love you guys. We're thinking of you, and hopefully you're in a nice, safe, dry spot now. That's it. That's all I want to say.
Yes. Agreed. Ditto.
All right, with that, should we get into what's on the bench, maybe? You guys okay with that?
Donde está la benchioteca?
Yeah.
What's up?
Oh, that's always low.
Every
What's
every
on my
week.
bench?
It's because I fade out the intro. I should just fade it and post.
Try. Okay, one more time.
Okay,
I want
ready?
to give me the good stuff.
Hey, you guys want to do a what's on the bench?
What's on my
Yeah.
bench?
There it is.
Well, Dan, what's on your bench?
Let me tell you what's not on my bench.
Dust.
First,
Give me the good stuff.
I don't have dust on my bench because I got rid of that damn Laguna P-Flux 1. And I hope the guy that bought it from me isn't listening to this. Good
Please don't sue.
freaking riddance. Ugh. I will say, I listed it on Facebook Marketplace and a local woodworker bought it, obviously. Who else would buy it? I don't know. Anyway, I pulled that thing out of my driveway and I cleaned it out rigorously. Vigorously? A whole lot.
Aggressively.
With
Aggressively.
gusto.
And
Neutral gusto.
it was working better than it has worked ever, I think. When I fired it up for him, because I hadn't fired it up at all until this guy showed up, I plugged it in, fired it up, and I put my hand up to the inlet. Is that what it's called? The inlet?
Yes.
The cutlet?
The cutlet.
And it nearly sucked my whole arm in. I was like, see,
Whoa.
it works just fine. So then at that point, I was like, should I be getting rid of this? And then I was like, no, it's got to go. So
It's hurt you
That-
too many times, Dan.
That dude straight up
Yeah.
robbed you, Dan. Like, what he got it for was like,
you know what? I'm okay
but
with
it's
it.
fine. It's out of your shop. Someone got a great
Okay with it.
deal.
It's a tax write-off.
That
Is it?
No, I'm not a
that-
CPA.
the current price of the Laguna P-Flux 1, I looked it up. It's like $2,700
That's for the new one. The old one
for
was
the new one.
the one you
model
had
that I
was-
had was like $2,000.
$2,000. Yeah,
Ish.
just under $2,000. They went up $1,000 per model.
And
Bonkers.
full transparency, didn't pay full price for it. We'll just leave it at that. So yeah, this guy got this Laguna for like $500.
You rode it hard and put it
it's a
away
good deal.
dusty every day.
Yes, yes.
We-
It served its purpose for 4 years. So
and
good riddance.
I mean, even if the guy does listen, I'll give it to you, Dan. I mean, you were very, very clear that you were changing models because of your specific use case scenario.
Yeah, I told him. I told him.
There are just not.
I
that
run
many
my
shops.
drum sander. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just not
Go
that
ahead.
many shops that run their drum sander at the sheer volume you do at the level of dust collection that was. Because that
Exactly.
machine
That's
was just not designed for what you used it for.
I think that machine did too good of a job at catching all the fine particles. And because I ran my dust collector constantly, or not my dust collector, my drum sander constantly, that's what clogs up the HEPA filter. It's not that it's a bad machine. It's just the HEPA filter is too damn good.
It just wasn't
if that
good.
makes sense.
It's not bad. It's just bad for Dan. It's not Dan
Exactly.
approved.
Exactly.
It's like,
so I told him I'm downgrading to this Harbor Freight with a less aggressive filter, which is good for production, but probably bad for my lungs. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that filter
Somehow.
uses one macron filtering. I'm not sure what a micron is in metric.
I don't know.
One thick con, a Nicki Minaj con.
So I got rid of the damn dust collector, put in that Harbor Freight one that Nick found on the Facebook Marketplace. Me and Nick went and got it. Nick did all the work of taking it down because we had to go to this guy's shop and like disassemble everything in his shop. He was getting rid of it because he's older and he was done woodworking basically. And then Braden came over. What was this, last Sunday? And
Yes.
we pieced it back together somehow. We reused all the 2x4 structures this guy had, and we pieced it back together the best we could, and we kind of Frankensteined it. And
we adapted it to a better design. I will
think
say that
we did.
We will design that thing was piecemealed together by somebody just thinking one step ahead the entire time.
So something that Braden and I ran into when we were assembling all this is that machine is put together with 5-inch dust collection pipe, or for 5-inch inlet, 5-inch outlet, which kind of threw a loop into the system because all my piping in my shop is 6-inch, and I had a bunch of 4-inch pipe too. So like it was like right in the middle. So we went to Menards and we got some 5-inch flex pipe, but it was like dryer vent pipe. It was really weak, right? So I didn't tell you this, so you're learning this right now, Braden.
Oh, no.
Yesterday,
You also didn't tell me, but okay, don't say my name.
Yesterday, oh yeah, well I didn't tell anybody. Sutton knows because he was there. Yesterday when I turned on the dust collector, the piping that we had going from the blower motor to the filter, the cheap pipe the dryer vent pipe that it blew off the motor. So I tried to fix it and I ended up putting my thumb through that cheap pipe. And I was like, mother.
It's not supposed to do that, Dan.
I overnighted some flex pipe from Amazon, some 5-inch flex pipe, and fixed it right away. So that was a bummer.
Did you also swap out the other cheap dryer piping?
No,
like
it's
that
still
goes
working.
into your system?
No, it's still working. It's fine.
Classic Dan. Don't make it work
Just
right
waiting
as long
to
as
film.
it works.
It's still working. It's fine. I got the parts to fix it if needed. It's fine.
Dan, you're gonna have a tombstone one day and it's just gonna say it's fine on it.
Dan, you also have the parts where we can make it fit 6-inch piping.
Yeah, I know, but it's fine. It's fine.
I know.
Why would you downsize?
I got that pencil. Listen, I was an hour and 45 minutes past texting Aretha and saying, "Oh yeah, I'm almost on my way home." So we got it to functional.
Yeah. I'm in the driveway. I'm literally about to pull out any minute now.
Let's see. Okay, aside from the dust collector saga, I have been sort of kind of like working on this maple castle joint bed. I got inspiration from a certain bed company that everybody gets ads for, but I changed up the design. I'm not going to give them any shout outs or anything, but I think
Better
you're
mattress company.
Pottery Barn Kids.
No, it's THUMA.
Pottery Barn. Generic.
Does that come from Pottery Barn?
I have no
Anyway,
idea.
it doesn't matter. I kind of got inspiration from that. I changed up the design enough to where it's not a legal issue. So I got an order for that bed back in March. I think it was March. Long story short, there was some back and forth. The customer wanted to change up some things a few times. Basically, end of the story, end of the day is that bed was 164 days past due, according to Etsy. And I finally got it packaged up and sent to the customer in Rhode Island. I'm so happy to have that little brick off my back. Brick, whatever.
I do just want to point out that, Dan, what is your lead time on those beds? 30 days or 60 days?
They're 30 days. 30 days.
So it's 194 days, would you say, maybe? Not counting weekends?
Well, actually,
because first you have 30 business days to ship it, not counting weekends, and then it's 164 days over that. So for
there's actually more.
Weekends.
There's actually more because if you go into Etsy on your desktop, you can't do this on the mobile app, and you open up that order, you can extend the lead time manually.
Did you extend the lead time, Dan?
I did. They only let you do it once, so I did it to the longest amount you can. So I extended it another 15 days. So 30 business days plus 15 business days plus 164 days over
40.8 weeks.
Yes. I could pull it up right now while we're talking. I can just go to
I'm counting 217 days on my Casio calculator.
Is that
right?
metric days or imperial days?
That's 30 days, 30 business days, plus 8 weekends, or 8 weekend days, so 4 weeks, because 30 days, month, right? Plus the 15-day extension, plus 164 days.
Yeah,
it's 217. I'm going to change my show notes to reflect that.
I just pulled it up. This customer bought this bed on March 4th. So
here's the thing. I'm not even busting Dan's balls. I'm genuinely impressed that the system allows for this.
Hold on. March, you say March 4th?
March 4th.
So okay, so just some context. Some context for anybody that's not like into the numbers. We are 1 week away from going to Maker Camp. This bed was ordered the week after we got back from Workbench Con.
According to Siri, that was 213 days ago, not 217. So I will correct my math.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you that it told me it was 164 days overdue. So,
dude, I'm like impressed that there was no red flag on Etsy. There was no like.
I kept in communication
and I know
with that customer.
you did nothing wrong. Like you were communicating with the customer.
He did 164 things.
Oh, I did some things wrong.
I'm trying to make this nice. Well, like, this isn't about Dan's time management and the customer delaying it and being okay with it. This is the fact that in Etsy, you're allowed to essentially keep an order in play for 2/3 of a year. Mm-hmm. That's the part that I'm actually kind of amazed with. This is not a like diss at Dan. I'm just like, wow, this is
their system isn't going to allow anything to happen if the customer doesn't file a complaint. That's where the red flags come from.
Just interesting.
That customer could have easily said. She could have easily filed like a help ticket or whatever it is that Etsy allows.
But you stayed in contact. I'm not saying that you did.
Stayed in contact with her. It's all good. I will say that I did have to refund somebody else's money on another bed. I didn't want to bring this up a couple weeks. Was it a month ago? Was it a month ago when that other customer?
You didn't want to bring it up until this one hit shipped.
The wound was fresh. Yeah, that too. But that wound was fresh. That hurt my
You
ego
are
really bad.
mad that week. We couldn't even bring it up on the podcast.
Punch
I
the
was mad at
stranger.
myself. Back up a little bit. If we go and listen, I don't know,
Throw a
6-7
number out.
weeks ago. If we go back and listen to that episode, I think one of those episodes I said I have like 49 orders overdue right now in my Etsy queue or something like that.
How many?
It was a large number.
What do you have
of
now?
Overdue orders. There's 2 in there right now. 2
Wait,
overdue.
wait, you still
Everything
have
else
overdue?
is current. They're recent. They're just one
They're not
is
recent. They're just recently overdue.
they're recently overdue. one's a special order slide table, a version 2 of the slide table. I don't do a whole lot of those. And one is a custom Ron Swanson sign.
Ooh.
So-
You can bang that out in like an hour.
Quit half-assing
yeah.
it and whole-ass
Dan,
one thing.
You are too. I will not let you,
You
sleep in
guys
this
realize
house.
that I
No,
got
no, no,
other
no.
orders to keep up with and not
The polisher
just do the one.
speaking. The polisher speaking. Hang on.
Oh.
I will not let you sleep in this house unless you have 0. I will check your orders and I will leave you at like Bardia if I need to. I want to see 0 overdue orders when you come
Pete,
here.
do me a favor. Just a little. We're gonna do a little test here. Hold out your 2 hands. If you all want to see the video of this, it's on YouTube. Hold out now. If you want in one hand and shit in another, which one do you think is going to get full first?
I don't math this.
The poop. The poop.
I know where you're going with this one, but you're
I don't-
stumbling
I don't-
through it.
I've learned negative lessons with this speech.
All I heard is
that was an old analogy my grandmother used to tell me.
what I am
Damn.
hearing. Maybe I can translate. I speak Dan fairly fluently. I believe that he is going to purposely have one overdue order and shit in your hand at your house,
Yeah, nailed it.
and then maybe film it for content.
You are
Well,
having
yeah, everything is
you-
content.
you are just having toast at my house the whole time you're here. Just
That's
toast.
White Wonder Bread.
Can it be
tips.
focaccia toast?
not Wonder Bread. No.
Can it be
Just
focaccia
generic.
toast?
No, we're gonna go to Dollar General. I'm gonna get the nicest loaf that's just slightly expired, and then that's what you're gonna eat.
And he's going to
Okay.
leave the bag. Are you going to leave the bag open so it just stales up just a little bit?
The stales up. It's already staled up. Dan,
What's
just
on my
do it.
bench?
It's just 2 orders that are
No,
overdue. I want to see
they're-
that 0.
They're already being worked on.
I know, but I just want.
Relax.
I'm gonna have an orgasm when you have a 0.
Relax.
But big O,
okay.
big O. We'll
Relax.
both have a big O.
Relax. I know that it's okay now because I've had one go to 164 days. So a couple days.
so one or
it's fine.
two, that's
Fine.
not even overdue.
Icarus
Fine.
flying close to the sun. He's like, well, if I
It's
stay
fine.
this far away, the
I'm
wings
not gonna
will
hit
melt.
170
Anyways,
days
what I
overdue.
was saying. Okay.
sorry, I'm
Before
giving
I
you a
was
lot of
rudely
crap.
interrupted.
Sorry, I love you, man. I'm so sorry.
I once upon a time had 49 orders overdue alone. I had
And
a
you down
bunch
to
of
2.
orders in my queue. They're down to 2. And I attribute a lot of that to having help in my shop in the form of Braden's brother Sutton. So I appreciate that. My appreciation to Sutton, even though he doesn't listen to this tripe. What's on my bench? I think that's pretty much it. I haven't had anything else going on this
You
week.
should make Sutton listening to the podcast part of his job description.
Right.
Well, mainly for the
I
views.
tried to make part of his job description watching my YouTube videos. That didn't go over. So
No.
he's like, yeah, I'm not watching those. I'm like, okay,
Wow.
well,
Oh,
it's awkward.
his quote, unwatchable. Well, that's rude. No, Dan's actually got some good videos. Go check him out.
Sutton has upper management written all
Wait,
over him with a
wait.
backbone
Yeah.
like that.
I have a question.
Pete.
Hi, Mr. Dan. So I have a question for you about season 2 of your YouTube channel. You mentioned that you were working on a new video, that you were going to shoot several that one week. I remember that being on a bench. It's in the notes. It's permanently in that. Where are we with the video? Because we want some new Dunlap content.
Well, we put the video on hold for a while because I was starting to get behind on orders again because
Okay.
we were focused on the video too much.
Oh man, really bummer.
Once I get caught back up, we'll go back to the video.
All
Priorities,
good.
man. Priorities.
I'm just asking where it's at. Like, I'm not here to bust your balls. Just not
They're
on this
still
one
on the
thing.
memory card. Actually, I should probably take that memory card out and download the videos onto my computer. That's very not trustworthy, but it's probably better than just sitting on my camera. But
I can
yes,
imagine
that's where I'm at.
Dan. He's flattening a slab in his planer, but he's like, just this one corner is a little wobbly. He just puts an SD card underneath it, and it's this whole YouTube video.
I do have. I have a personal, not a personal, a metric buttload of SD cards. I don't know why I said personal.
You sent me
A
some of
personal
your old
buttload?
ones.
A personal buttload. Well, here's our show title. Oh, that could be the
Personal
code phrase.
buttload.
That's the code phrase.
No, we like
No.
the woodworking festival.
Okay, I got outvoted. That's not the
Dan, no wait.
not the code
All
phrase.
right, I'll let you do the code phrase that you guys really wanted to do last week.
I don't remember what that was.
New
Do you
Jersey
remember,
barbecue.
New Jersey.
Oh no, I think that would be worse than the personal buttload.
I think New Jersey barbecue is the perfect show title.
Well, we can't. I already got a show title. I already wrote it down. I didn't want to. I was going to leave it as a surprise.
I hope that my cooking lives up to the hype. I don't know. Now I'm worried. Now there's so much hype around it. The past years I've just surprised you with food. Now it's like there's something on
Hey,
the line.
you've been talking it up. I'm going to have focaccia bread and barbecue from Jersey.
You're not saying it right. It's gotcha. Say
All
it right.
I know is I heard Pete say that he was considering selling his laser and shop tools and just going bread making full time.
Yeah.
It was that good.
I
heard
need
him-
to know more about this.
Yeah, we might be able to get a good deal on a dust collector.
You see, I did a bread pun, but you didn't catch it because you didn't see the spelling of need.
Oh,
With a K,
Okay.
with a silent K.
Dan,
I
I
love
appreciate the
it.
pun. At least he's not using ChatGPT to try to find puns
Hey,
this
we got-
time.
we got to watch
I would
him.
never. I would
No.
never.
You were using performance enhancing AI, as Braden said.
Okay, we're still doing what's on my bench. That's it for
what's
me.
on your bench, Dan?
Braden, talk about stuff. Please. Save us.
I am having one of those weeks, and I don't know if you guys get this, where I'm not getting like a ton done specifically. Like there's not volume. I don't have any like really, really big orders, but I'm just like crushing through projects. And knock on wood, I'm having one of those weeks where the CNC is working flawlessly. I'm double checking the G code before I export it. I'm zeroing off of the wasteboard so that I don't have any adjustments that I've got to make. I haven't ruined any wood this week, and I'm really happy with that. And I'm only comfortable saying that because I'm officially done running the CNC for the rest of the week.
Because you're about to leave for 2 weeks.
I leave tomorrow morning for anybody that's listening. You may have met him at Workbench Con, but my buddy Trevor, he was the guy. He had the beard. He'd stand out.
Oh, that
in the
narrows
crowd.
it down.
Yeah. My buddy Trevor is getting married this weekend in Colorado, and your boy speaks words done good. So I'm officiating this thing. I am the decider on if they get married or not. All things go through me.
Which gluten-based religion are we doing this under?
That is an excellent question. I come with a variety pack of religions that they can get married under.
A sampler, if you will, a kit and caboodle.
A flight, a religious flight.
But you're at a weird religious brewery, and it's you can't just get an ale, right?
No. There's
Yeah.
notes. There's notes of Roman Christianity.
But they're really weird.
Yeah. A lot of banana, like a weirdly large.
A lot of these religions are 13%. Right.
And we're making jokes, but let me run through these religions. Number 1, Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, which is a long-standing, established religion that you can get ordained in.
Guys,
So,
we're not
Church of the Flying
kidding.
Spaghetti Monster. I'm also ordained in the Church of the Latter-day Dudes, which, yes, is based off the Big Lebowski.
Mm-hmm.
You can also go to the same place and get a doctorate in dudism. So a lot of opportunities for growth. Yeah, literally.
PhD.
Yeah. So that's my big goal for next year is to get my doctorate. And then also the Universal Life Church, going kind of classic, non-religious religion. I don't know. It'll make people happy, the purists. But really excited for that. So I fly out tomorrow. I am flying into Denver, and then this wedding is like bum F nowhere. It's like 3-4 hours outside of Denver. In fact, you know what? It'd be handy
every destination wedding.
It'd be handy if I had a map of where it is, which I do, because Trevor doesn't listen to the podcast.
It looks like a Rorschach test.
This is Gunnarson, Colorado, right there. And then Denver is like over here. And these are all the mountains.
When I look at those shapes, I just see my relationship with my mother. And
I see, hold it in one hand and leave your other hand open.
No, Dan, we're not doing that again.
If you want in one hand and put that thing in your other hand, which one will get full first?
No.
The best part, never mind. That joke is not appropriate. I'm not going to make this one. Let's just say that I also 3D modeled similar to Titty Nick, but that was not any part of the body that can be shown.
Oh.
Titty.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Oh.
So I'm doing that this weekend, and then I come back. I have like the worst flights because I'm cheap and the girls aren't going, so it's just me, and I don't mind abusing my body. Flights are the worst.
You just put me in the cargo hold?
Pretty much. That's basically what I'm doing.
Oh gosh.
I get home at like 2 a.m. Monday. I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we fly to Maker Camp for basically a week.
What time do you guys land? You land like pretty late, right?
Like 7 your time.
Yeah, we leave here at like 5:15.
Yeah.
So what with carry the 3?
You land,
change?
I think 9.
No.
Yeah,
this is Australian time, maybe.
Yeah, no, you land at 9:30 here.
We'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah,
I don't believe that.
It's called a time zone change, Dan.
It's fake news.
It's not a 3-hour difference.
24, you land.
What?
Yeah.
So then we go into Maker Camp, and I'm fairly certain I'm going to have to like text pictures of myself so that Aretha can show Gabby and she doesn't forget what her dad looks like. So that's kind of my week. Betwixt,
just take food for thought. A little pro tip. Take a bunch of pictures of yourself in different outfits before we do Maker Camp.
Or just costume changes the first day, rapid
to make
fire.
It look like you've taken pictures of yourself daily.
With a really thick bokeh, so like it looks blurry, so she can't tell where you are on all of them. We'll just keep moving you around. And I'll start the fire in the backyard. So there's a fire pit. She's like, oh, he's by the fire. Yeah. Or like we'll just have a laptop with a picture of people, and like in the background, it's a fake background.
Or we just take a picture of his face and we AI it onto other things.
Like bears, beats, Battlestar Galactica.
I'm really tempted to
clowns.
like not play because I don't want to get demonetized. But the Reba McEntire, I'm a Survivor, like a single mom that works too hard, like that's gonna be Aretha for 2 weeks while her husband is gallivanting around different states with other men.
And you know what? The worst part is, honestly, I have the audacity to continue to call it like a work thing because it's for the business.
Yeah, there's people that call certain things infinite money glitches in real life, and those aren't what they.
That is correct.
It is technically correct, which is the best kind.
You're doing check fraud of relationships,
yeah, pretty much. But betwixt all of that, somewhere in between all of that, I don't think I've brought it up, but I landed a custom kitchen island. So I've got to get the toe kick at least done for that because the flooring goes in like 2 days after we get back from Maker Camp. Luckily, a toe kick is not super bad. It's a square.
It's a really rough picture frame.
I'm basically, and my picture frames are pretty rough to begin with, so should be fine. I have a couple of CNC jobs that I have to do, and then I'm busy quoting out what's going to be probably a really, really cool job, but it's a gift for salespeople of a high-end insurance company. And it's a company that I've worked with before for other branding projects, and they basically reached out and they're like, we are looking for something artistic and functional. And that's about all they gave me for information. And then there was a suggestion of like a cigar box sized box, because a box would be useful. But other than that, the phrase or the term walnut burl came up.
Walnut burl. Yeah. That's something a person that doesn't know about wood would ask about. A normie would ask. Thank you, Dan.
And that was kind of the funny part. So I called them up after a couple of emails back and forth. I called them and I was like, hey, I need some context, a couple questions, like especially if this is going to be kind of an artistic piece. Let's get the must-haves kind of figured out. Figured out the budget is an artistic piece level of budget, so it should be good. It lets me play with the things that you easily Google when you Google fancy words. So, walnut burl, Polaro walnut, pillowed maple. But I asked the customer, I was like, I have to ask, do you know what this means? Or is this a term that you were either told or found online? Like, do you know what that type of wood is? And
I Googled it
immediately. No idea. I have no idea what that means. It's something that somebody, one of the art directors told me, and I Googled it, and that's the type of direction. And I was like, okay, so you want something that's highly figured and interesting to look at. You don't necessarily want that because
you can't afford it, honey.
Yeah, that would be we're talking some different things. We could make some bookmarks out of that. So I've got to quote that, which means I'm going to be doing some work at your house, Pete.
Whoa, you promised Dan and I that you're not working.
He did.
While you're here.
He did.
I remember you literally promising that to us.
Here's the thing. I technically only told you that about one of my two jobs. I'm not doing non-woodworking stuff. I'm not doing non-woodworking
after everything I've done for you.
Also, how often do I get to sit in front of Justin Bailey and Patrick Genzold, the fancy woodworker, like high-end gift people that I know?
Why are you sitting in front of them? That's weird.
Yeah, I don't understand the.
Why are you in a room with them? Like, was
I like
a weird sex thing, dude? Again,
I like to hold their hands and stare deeply into their eyes. Don't make me feel weird for this. I've seen you guys do it too. I'm just doing what everybody does.
Everybody's doing it,
and then I've got a bunch of other little stuff.
Put out your hands and you.
Dan, stop it with the weird analogies.
Other than that, Dan and we are cooking through getting stuff ready for craft fairs, because as much as I like to say that we plan, we don't. And we're going to get back from Maker Camp, and 3 weeks later, we've got our biggest craft fair, and we are not.
I've already got
ready.
So much stuff, bro.
Yeah, but I still have to figure out how to make everything look nice and organized.
Yeah, that's the problem, eh?
But we'll talk about that when we get into questions, so we'll have a chance. But more later. Pete, why don't we just move on to questions? Oh, I'm sorry. No, what's on your bench?
Oh, thanks, buddy. Thanks for also asking me how my week was.
Let me guess.
Much appreciated. So, anyways, I have 0 overdue orders in my Etsy queue.
Oh, look at this guy!
I don't mean to flex my degrees here, but okay. So I wrapped up that big engraving job for my friend. So if you missed the what's on the bench the last couple of weeks, I have some friends that started they were wedding photographers, and they started essentially a catering business on top of that, because they have no chill. And Richard, my buddy, like, he's like us. He just can't stop. He's just always looking for like the next thing. So they started Asado, which is essentially open pit barbecue, like big pieces of meat cooked over a big fire right on site, and they're going to be serving the food. Yeah, what's up, Braden?
Is that the style of cooking that we're going to do for that whole pig that we've talked about doing at your house?
We're not doing a pig.
And-
that was a trick
and the
question.
bear.
We're
And the
doing a bear.
Oh,
we're
that's
not doing
right.
a
We're
pig.
doing the bear.
Yeah, you're pig for asking. We're doing a bear. Thank you.
Thanks for bearing with me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Anyways, so I got the engraving job wrapped up. So I did a bunch of engraving of the knives. So they got this custom made cutlery for this, and all the knives and handles look like they're all handmade. They're literally all handmade. They must have spent a fortune on these knives. So I had to engrave.
Walnut?
No, but they're like it's some like epoxy resin. It almost looks like some kind of bone, but it's not.
Total bone, baby.
Total bone, baby. And so I had to engrave like 100 of these things, and definitely didn't have a heart attack like every time I had to do it to make sure it was good. So I got that job done. Then I had to engrave a couple boards that they like got for like miscellaneous random like serving things that they got at like, like Marshalls and stuff. So whatever. I put their logo on it. But then they just like showed up with a bunch of live edge wood, and they're like, hey, this is for our serving trays. Thanks. We'd like a juice groove all the way around it. I'm like, it's live edge, guys. It's live edge. Like, what do you mean juice groove? That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And they're like, oh, and also our logo and like all this. And I had to reset some expectations, but then I was like, all right, I need to figure this out. How do I do, because I personally have wanted to do juice grooves on some live edgy style boards in the past, and I had no idea how to do it efficiently aside from like mapping it out in Fusion and then trying to cut it on a CNC. So I literally went ahead and like invented a tool, which it was so tedious, so annoying, so much math, but also like so fun at the end to just be like, I have this very intricate problem. I'm going to solve it in a way that I can repeatedly get good results. And that little jig, it's almost like you guys have seen the 3x3 custom Tamar jig, right? Like with the two handles, whatever. It's that with a pin and different spacers for the pin. So you can choose how indented you want either your dado or your juice groove. And I just put a little cove bit on it. And dude, it is flawless. It's to the point where like I will never do a juice groove with a jig again.
Wait, did you say dado as in like a dado for a live edge?
No, you could do it like if you needed to do an indented dado, like a rabbit, or not a rabbit, a dado. You needed to run a dado, but it had to follow let's say a circle, and you didn't have a CNC. You could technically use this to ride around the edge and like actually cut a dado.
My first thought when you said live edge dado was just dados for like cabinet making. I was like, how on earth are you going to fit
no
spacer or something in there? What, why?
But the cool thing is like, like I was using it for live edge boards. So there's areas that were very thin. It kind of went to a point like any live edge. Some were just straight, sides. So you can ride along that and actually get a pretty good reference surface with how big the plate was and the two handles. So I got to actually clean up the file a little bit and release the plans because I had a couple of people ask me about it. But it came out really awesome. And honestly, now if I have to do live edge on even like an end grain board, I'm just going to do this instead of throwing it into CNC because it's that much faster. It's so nice to have it set up. So anyways, got that done. Got all the live edge done, finished them up. There was a ton of work. Try to get, I had a couple of late nights. I was in the shop till like 2 a.m. a bunch of days this week. And anytime I had some free time, I've been sitting on a computer trying to do a Fusion refresher. So they're always releasing new features. And I wanted to sit down this week and like kind of go over some stuff. So I actually, little disclaimer, I had a call with Autodesk. There may be some collaboration there in the future with us and Fusion 360. So I was like, you know what, let me do a refresher. Sometimes taking a basics course, you learn a bunch of stuff that you never really knew about or a more efficient way of doing it. So just been trying to do that. And, that's basically it. Just got all those boards wrapped up in like a week and then effing around in Fusion. That's it. Might get into questions now that I think about it.
Yeah, let's.
Oh, wait, no. Go ahead. Braden, you go first and then me.
I have two very short things. One, I ordered a new track saw I'm really excited about it.
You get a new track saw.
I went with the Milwaukee battery powered track saw. Because Drew Witt said that it was on par with the Festool, and I was bouncing between the two. But I'm really excited to get a bigger track saw and get rid of a cord. I'm super pumped about that. And then the second thing, the first box of official certified pre-owned Dan scraps made it to somebody that ordered a box.
That is an infinite money glitch if I ever heard of one.
I love it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it works. I can't believe that I keep asking Dan, hey, do you want to sell your own scraps still? And he keeps saying no. So if anybody needs Dan scraps, don't buy cheap knockoffs.
Oh, Dan.
Buy from the official distributor.
Don't buy cheap knockoffs from Dan.
From Dan himself.
Buy the ones from the distributor of Dan's. What a pyramid scheme.
That's right. Anyway, what'd you have, Pete?
Oh, I'll do this segment real quick. Remember?
Oh, we haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah. Hey guys, who are you wearing?
I'm wearing my Oma Bro shirt.
I'm wearing my honorary Oma Bro shirt.
Oma Bro.
Yeah, we all got the same shirt on. It's really nice.
Awkward.
Also, it's nice to be part of the family. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I don't think we had a choice, but you're welcome.
Well,
Sometimes Nick just does things. He doesn't consult the council.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, consult the council.
The council of bros.
The council of bluffs.
Oh, I like that. That's a funny joke from your area. Geography joke. Yeah. Anyways, let's get into questions. I think that's this audio.
Thank you.
Go, Black Betty, ram lamb.
Nice. Okay, so let's start with this one from a Mr. Dan Western, not to be confused with Dan Midwestern, which is Dan Dunlap.
Some may say he's the best Western.
I like that. That's good. Yep.
It will never not be funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you guys like it raw, but I've been making raw steel frames and wood pieces for 20 years. I have used a rattle can of clear from Rust-Oleum with great success. Another tip I was given from a rat rod shop was brush on Flood's Penetrol. The Penetrol adheres to dirt and everything, so if the steel isn't perfectly clean, it will still stick. I had it on stool that I made for my brewery, and they held up to abuse and cleaning for over 5 years. No issues. Cheers, guys. Dan Western, Tiltus Sash Enterprises.
I love it. Damn, what do we call it when it wasn't kickback, it was like snipe or something when people called in with just comments on we had a word for it.
The Outback Steakhouse.
We can't call it kickback because that's what the
No, we had a clever word for it, and I can't remember.
I don't know.
Let's just call it Outback Steakhouse. Kickback,
Terrible.
Outback.
But
Boomerang.
That's really good
Outfeed.
advice. So he says he uses just a rattle can Rust-Oleum with great success. The clear gloss or satin matte, whatever
That
you
is
want to use.
for the question that Alex asked last week.
Good
right?
question. Unlike this week's. It was a very
About
good
how to
question, Alex.
keep metal looking raw with
Yeah.
some sort of finish.
And then he said there's also a rat rod shop, whatever that is.
That's a car building shop.
Oh, that's what I was thinking hot rod shop. But
Yeah.
anyways,
It's a type of rat rod.
they use a brush on Flood's Penetrol, and that apparently sticks to anything and it's pretty resilient. So kind of intrigued about that. I'm going to do some reading about it.
That's what I use on all my ZCIs, that Floods Penetrol. I don't even sand them or nothing. I just flood it with the Penetrol.
I can't tell if no, he's lying.
No, that's not serious. That is not serious.
I still have to sit down and test the paint that I got a couple weeks ago, where I got the tractor paint or farm equipment paint, which is
Really?
oh yeah,
that's
it's like
right.
really
I
thick
remember you
stuff. Yeah, I gotta actually try to spray it. So we'll see about that. We'll see if it works. All right, next question. That wasn't a question, but that's good. Next one's from Sarah.
Hey girlies, I thought I would record a question this week. So obviously Maker Camp is next week. Is it crazy for me to bring my own tools, like especially turning tools, because I don't really know what they're gonna have, And Pat Lapp said he would sharpen mine for me. Do I bring my own face shield? Also, is this an event where people are making content? Like, part of me wants to bring my phone stand. Am I going to look crazy if I do that? So, yeah, let me know. Thanks, girlies.
That's actually a really good question. Like, as far as she asked about the packing list last week for Maker Camp. So at first I was like, why are you bringing your own tools?
Yeah, your answer bounces through the whole question between, well, no, well, yes,
well, yes,
well,
but
no,
maybe sometimes,
but maybe no, yes.
So first of all, you're not bringing your pen lathe. You're not bringing. You can bring your face shield, but they have plenty. If you're going to do any kind of
shields.
Turning of there, unless you're germaphobe, you can totally bring it. Now, if Pat Lapp offered to sharpen your tools, sure,
that right there, yes.
But I was
gonna say don't bring your tools at all, but then I heard the part where she said Pat was gonna sharpen them. Yes, bring them for that, but otherwise there will be tools there to be used.
I will, however, say something that I'm not assuming here, but if you have carbide tipped tools, those can't be sharpened. Usually, you have to turn it or replace the actual blade. So if you have a ball gouge, yes, it can be sharpened. But if it's a carbide tool, you have to just replace the whole tip or rotate it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, don't bring like a bunch of gear. You want to go light. You want to go nice and light. It's a far walk from your car.
That, and you keep in mind that this is going to be like a huge open field that you're going to be in. You don't want to be carrying that stuff around with you all day, because that will become very tiring. And there's going to be nowhere to put it around. Yeah.
And depending on where you're staying, if she's staying,
I don't know where she's staying, but yeah.
But but you don't want to be overloaded.
I don't even bring a camera.
I bring a fanny pack so I can have 3 beers in there at all times. One for me, one for Nick Brim, and an emergency beer. We all need that, right? But yeah, that's about it. Braden, any other advice on that?
No, don't. If you have an opportunity to do something that you can't do normally, bring it. Pat Lab sharpening your tools is something you can't get immediate access to at home. Bring that. Don't bring other tools.
Yeah.
There's plenty of tools there.
Thing.
Yeah. I think Alex is coming, so there's plenty of tools there.
Oh, damn, burn. Oh.
Sizzle. Got him.
Everything that you're going to want to do, there will be tools provided. So
yeah, the brands are very well equipped for you to do what you need to do with their stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if they're not, walk away. It's dangerous.
Except Onefinity. They have no idea what they're doing.
Oof. Okay.
Just kidding. I love them.
We all have one. Be nice.
I'm just kidding.
There's just 2 guys with mustaches that look like they're siblings. At least that's what it was last year.
I'm still waiting for the buddy cop movie of Hop and Stone.
Hop and Stone. I don't skip stones. I hop them. So dumb. We're taking credit for that. If they use it, I'm suing.
I'm gonna have to make an AI like.
Yes.
Hopping stones down by the river.
We don't skip stones. We hop them. So stupid.
Oh my god.
I love those guys.
I just have it. Oh, I wonder how fast I can get a t-shirt made, because I just had
I don't think it'll ship in time.
I have
ship it to Pete's house.
I have paid exorbitant amounts of money for overnight shipping before for a joke at a maker event, and I'll do it again.
Oh my god. Oh, jeez. Okay. Now the other question. I think this is also from Sarah.
Okay, girlies, I have another question, and don't compare me to Alex Adams with all my questions. Anyways, love you. So I have this cart that I use for craft shows, and there's just more and more things I feel like I'm going to be carrying, and I'm bringing masa chips with me. If you guys don't know, that's my brother's tortilla chip company, Fried and Beef Tallow. I'm pretty sure I've given a bag to Peter before. I'm bringing so many bags of those for everyone to try and to give out. So do I just bring my little push cart that I use for craft shows with everything? Because I'm also going to have a cooler for like drinks and food because I'm kind of healthy and don't want to eat food trucks. Yeah, can't wait to see you next week.
First off, I'm deeply offended that she is insinuating that I do not also treat my body like a temple and eat healthy food.
Listen,
I'm okay with it.
but on that note, Braden, we're all just a little bit of Indiana Jones that weekend. We're going to go down some dark temples. Like, it might be a temple, but there's cobwebs and there's a rolling stone. And
Dark
snakes.
arts.
Dark arts.
We're going down to the Chamber of Secrets. I'm not sure where we're going with this metaphor.
No, but basically it's like...
So you have two hands.
And one hand is eating healthy, and the other hand is your only option of eating the food that's there. That's a good point.
I was just going to say my answer is the same as it was for the last one.
Yeah,
if you
same.
bring a cart, you're going to bring more stuff. It's like getting a bigger shop, getting a bigger house, getting a bigger anything. If you have the room, you're going to fill it. If you bring a cart, you're going to carry a bunch of shit. And I guarantee, I promise, I swear stit, you're going to get tired of lugging your cart around.
I'm getting anxiety just thinking about pushing a cart around Maker Camp. And I'm not even the one like that's coming up with this. So I would say don't, but you know what, Sarah, you do you. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
You're going to have something in your hand that you'll get from a table or whatever, and it'll be in your hand for like 8 hours. And you're going to be really annoyed with yourself.
I think once she shows up and she doesn't have the cart with her, she's going to go, "Oh man, I'm so glad I didn't bring the cart."
Or she's not going to bring the cart, and she's going to immediately want it and be like, "Damn you, Dan and Pete and Braden."
So I have an associate's degree in keeping Sarah in line. I got it from DeVry University. So I constantly check Sarah because she's local to me. She's actually coming over tomorrow. We're going to do some work. I constantly keep her in line. Sarah, you're not bringing a cart. You're not giving away chips. I don't think it's... Well, you can. You can do whatever you want.
I want some of those chips.
Yeah.
You just
Well,
don't
no,
know.
giving away
bring
3
some
bags
chips for
of
us.
chips.
Bring 4 mixed there too. Emma, so 6.5 bags because of the baby. So bring a couple bags. But here's the thing. And this is like more like on a outside of Maker Camp note. How much is your brother paying you for the free marketing? Okay, now that you've answered that question,
Charge family though, right?
well, then, like, what's in it for you to market his product at this thing? The other
Free
thing
chips?
is, Maker Camp's not a marketing event.
No, it's not.
Brands are there, but it is in no way a pitch your pitch, try to lock down a relationship, like, how can we work together type. It's an event. Brands happen to be there.
It's literally a camp.
It's a camp. It's a hands-on event. You don't want to have a bunch of stuff with you. You want to be able to be loosey-goosey. If your car is there in the lot, like, it's a walk to your car each time. It's a bit of a hike. But I don't think you really want to be bringing a ton of stuff with you because no one really's. Everyone's giving away stickers. That's the heaviest thing they're carrying.
Oh, she asked me if I was bringing stickers, and I was like, I don't know. You're gonna have to ask Pete.
I'm bringing Dan's stickers.
I don't think I'm bringing stickers this year. I didn't order any new stickers for
You don't have any?
Littlebug stickers.
Well, I have my stickers, Dan's stickers, and the podcast stickers.
I will
And now
likely
it's
give
awkward.
out. I will likely give out Workbench Con 2024 Littlebug stickers.
That's fine. It's still your logo.
That's what I'm bringing.
Nobody's gonna know the difference.
Yeah, but
I mean,
but no-
it says WBC 2024 on it.
But listen, if you're going to Maker Camp for the first time, this is a genuine question. Like, what do I need to bring? Do I need a backpack? Do I need this stuff? Do I need lunch? Do I whatever? Like, yeah, the food you're gonna get at the main thing, it's like not the healthiest. You do want to pack some stuff, but you don't have to bring it with you.
A backpack isn't a bad idea.
It's not like it's a big festival where you're like hiking a mile away from your car. Your car's within like a 3 to 5 minute
yards.
walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those breaks
I
are
can
good. Those are
walk to
good
the
for
car
you.
with one break,
Yeah.
so it's fine.
Hands on the knees, panting.
There is a pergola
Yes.
halfway
Yeah.
between
There's
So,
a pergola. It's a very
yes.
nice one.
I know. I usually stop and take a nap there and then continue on my
Cow
trip.
Dog built it last year. It was
But
awesome.
that's a good point. Those breaks, like walking to the car to get stuff out, those are good breaks. Like
Yeah.
those are mental detach or detox or whatever breaks.
We go to the
So-
car once in a while. We pick up some beers, so we don't have to buy them. Maybe a couple, or we just hang out. Or sometimes we're like, "Hey, let's go back to the house for like an hour,
Catch a
grab some
quick
lunch,
nappy.
and come back." A little. We've done a nappy. It's been pretty good.
Mm.
Yeah, it all depends on where she's staying because I don't know which tent or like yurt she's staying. Yeah, yurt she's staying in. All right. Next question. We're good. Yeah.
Get it.
Josh the father.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh the Dad. Yeah, Josh the Dad, one of the big IG, coming at you with the question. I got the full-blown gamut this week. Oh, love it. That's right. I found some time to cheat this week and bring you the question. Hey, this one comes from the IG world. It has to do with sourcing material for templates, of all things. So here's their question. When creating router templates, is it better to have acrylic or MDF? How thick should it be? Is 1/4 inch too thick? Can get by with like a 3/16 or a half? And then also, multiple questions. Also, where would you acquire your material? If you have a laser and you want to make an acrylic, where do you source your acrylic from? Well, until next week, work hard, do your best, and find some time to have a little fun. I'm out.
Good question, Josh.
Yeah, very good question. Well,
I think it all depends on if you are trying to sell those templates or if you're making them for yourself. If you're making them for yourself, I think MDF is perfectly fine. 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, whatever. MDF is cheap. If you're selling them, people like to have the clear templates for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're stronger. They're more durable. They'll last longer. Number two, the makers that are buying them can see where they're placing them on their project, so they get a better visual representation of how it's going to look. So, for my bow tie templates, I do 1/4 inch. For everything else, I do 3/8. So it really depends on how your templates are going to work. My bow tie templates work with a bushing, so it doesn't rely on a bearing on a bit. You have to have a bushing that rides in it. If your templates are used with some sort of like flush trim bit that has a bearing, I would go 3/8, just because you want as much surface area for that bit to ride on as possible. I think a 1/4 inch is a little too thin for the bearing to be riding on. So that's my 2 cents. Pete?
Dan, also, material you're saying just clear acrylic? Would you ever use MDF?
Yeah, if I'm making templates for myself, I'll use MDF. That's what I was saying.
I think MDF or plywood is good.
If I'm selling them to other makers, I'm using acrylic.
And where would you source the material?
What was that website, Braden? East Street Plastics?
E Street Plastics.
Yeah.
Is that local to you guys or just online?
It's
online.
It's in Texas. It's online. I did a lot of research into acrylic sources, and I couldn't find a single place that was even close to touching their prices.
Oh, I haven't
Even
seen
with
it yet.
shipping.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
even
right.
with shipping. It was like shockingly cheaper than everywhere else.
Like
Nice.
I used to
they're
get
laundering
my
money sort of cheap.
I used to get my 1/4 inch acrylic for my bow tie templates from Menards, and a 4x4 sheet of it is nearly $200.
Minus 11%.
Menards? Minus 11%, obviously. But I think E Street Plastics for a piece of the same size, can't remember. Maybe it was a 2x4, but it was like a 1/4 the price. It was half the size, 1/4 the price.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like $30. I was getting
Yeah.
some sheets for some templates, and again, they don't care about the revenue. It's all a laundering scheme. It's like a restaurant for the mafia. Like they don't actually care about the prices. That sort of thing. I think that might be what's going on. Allegedly.
Giuseppe's Plastics. I get it.
Yeah.
eastreetplastics.com.
Jeez. Well, Braden, what are your thoughts on it?
Pretty similar to Dan's. If I'm selling a template that's only intended to be used one time, I'm fine sending MDF, but I'm going to be honest, I just love how the laser works with cast acrylic. It is so easy. I don't have to worry about anything slipping. I don't have to worry about too many marks. I love putting stuff through the laser. So,
and the laser cutting through the plastic makes that edge look super polished.
Real profesh.
Cast acrylic. Cast acrylic. So
yes.
there's a difference.
Extruded.
I will say that extruded, just think extruded like spit out of a machine in a flat sheet out. So it looks like glass, but it has a grain direction, quote unquote. And when it's cast, it's like wood. It's long wise. So if you're trying to actually
it's extruded.
Extruded, sorry, I'm not cast. So when it's extruded, it is just spit out of this long thin line and makes a nice thin sheet, and it's basically long grain, and it doesn't cut as well. It engraves pretty nicely. But if you really want to do cutting or templates, cast acrylic. And some websites won't even list it as one or the other. But as soon as you try to mill it with a CNC or even a laser, you'll know the difference.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't extruded a cast the one that we want? Cast.
Yes.
Isn't that normally the stuff that has the brown paper backing on it as well? I've noticed that the extruded is usually clear plastic.
I don't know. I always thought it's like brand specific.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like an industry thing, but it's something that I have noticed is.
I can't say.
It'd be a good thing for someone to bing before the show instead of trying to answer it live.
Here we go.
No, but I mean, it might be true. Shoot, that actually would make it a lot easier.
We'll look into some follow-ups, maybe, unless we forget or don't feel.
Then
like
I definitely have a bunch of extruded acrylic in my shop.
Yeah, if that was the case, I was buying extruded acrylic from Menards.
Yeah, and you can it'll cut. It'll engrave and all that, but just
I cut it on the CNC.
It won't be as clean as you could get it with the other material. You know?
With cast, it's clear, it's a perfect cut. So, but yeah, I mean, I like using acrylic. I think it's. I don't get the it smells awful that a lot of people say. I don't smell. It's not great, but it doesn't smell that bad.
Actually, I was just cutting bow tie templates today. So I save them till I can cut like a whole run of them. Mm-hmm. And I cut them on the laser now these days. And every time I cut them, Sutton's like, that smells like garlic. And I'm like, I don't understand where you're getting that from, but okay.
Garlic? No. Your garlic is wrong.
I don't know where he gets that from, but I'm like, okay, bro.
That's why you don't get your garlic from China. Am I right? Jeez.
He's probably sneaking
or from a plastic factory.
Yeah,
he's probably sneaking chunks of garlic into those face masks.
What also, is it doing? PLA garlic?
I do want to say I'm very, very proud of my brother. We talk about workshop safety and PPE all the time, but let's be honest, we are all really bad about doing safety squint stuff.
Yes.
I've yet to see a picture of Sutton in the shop where he does not have a mask and gloves on, except when he's operating a tool. And then the gloves are off, but the mask is still on.
Yeah, who wears gloves in a shop? What a coward, am I right?
Sutton, he's always locked up on all the PPE. He's got headphones. He's got closed shoes, not flip flops.
He's running a ground wire
gloves.
too.
He's got a dust mask. Yeah, he's probably got a ground wire on him. I don't know.
Honestly, wait, have you ever sanded material and you just keep getting shocked?
Yes.
Yeah.
From the static. Yes.
Yeah. Actually, sometimes I'll when I'm working on the ice climbing tools, one of the sanding stations is on my table saw, and the rail that the fence rides on, it's right at at the height for gentlemen, at the height. So I would be sanding, and then there would be there would be an arc, to the pole. Let's just put it that way. And I was getting shocked over and over again to the point where like I was just leaning up against it. I'm like, I need to be grounded.
I haven't been shocked on the pole, but I have that problem predominantly with my DeWalt 735 planer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I still have the dust bag on it. So especially in the winter.
Oh, the dust bag. Yeah.
It shocks the living crap out of me every time I use it. I always forget about it.
Now that you have functional dust collection, we're gonna run some dust collection out the top of that thing and get you a flex hose outside. So
I do have that flex hose. I have that flex hose.
And I have a bunch of flex hose too.
I have that 4-inch Rockler flex hose that came in the barrel.
It takes 5-inch.
But not coming off my 6-inch pipe. We could run a 4-inch.
Whoa, 6-inch pipe, Dan! Come on,
yeah, I don't mean to brag.
Family show.
Got 6-inch pipe. It's green.
Dan's gonna 3D print like 6 levels of reducer.
Oh, this is something I forgot to bring up. What's on my bench before I print anything? I gotta fix my bamboo. I ruined my hot end the other day, like 2 days ago. That's a whole nother story for a different day.
Dan jammed his hot end. Wink, wink.
I did. He got real jammed up.
Poor Kayla.
Gummed.
My hot end got gummed.
Oh, Jesus. All right, I'll quickly answer. Since nobody called on me. Templates.
Yeah,
so I think 1/4 inch is the minimum. 1/4 inch material is minimum thickness for templates. The reason is for certain templates, you are, if you're talking about like a router plate or whatever, it doesn't really matter as much, but 1/4 inch just has like a nice rigidity. You also don't want to make it too heavy, so you don't need to go to like 1/2 inch. 3/8 is actually really nice. But if you're doing a template where you will be riding a router up against maybe a router bit, like a flush trim bit with a roller on it, you want to have enough reference surface. So 1/4 inch is minimal. I'll give one example of Alec from Medallion Maker, a very, nice, awesome account now. If you need medallions, like brass medallions made of your logo that you can insert into your workpieces, he has templates that I actually was cutting for him for a while. They were 3/8, and the reason was so that you can do 2 passes. So you can actually have it lifted up and still be on the template and then bring it down and be on the template again. So I think 3/8 for certain templates. If you think it's going to be one that has to go deep enough, go a little bigger on it. That's where MDF comes in handy, because like you can go a little taller. Like what's 3/4 inch MDF, right? Like it's cheap. 3/4 inch acrylic, paying out the butt.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. As far as where to get materials, I've always sourced it locally. One of my lumber yards sells like offcuts, and they're a lot cheaper. And then the one source that I've good
place near you, the maker stock.
Well, that was the next thing I was going to talk about.
Oh,
it's
sorry. Continue. I didn't say
2
anything.
hours for me. No, it's fine. So the new place that I found was one of the sponsors at Workbench Con. They were it's Maker Stock, and they're online. They also do local pickup if you're in the Northeast, and they're in Pennsylvania near Scranton. So I actually drove out there and picked up some plywood and like 1/8 inch Baltic birch and 1/4 inch Baltic birch from them. Material's really good. It's a small operation human wise, massive amount of supply. The amount of material they have there is just mind boggling. It's actually pretty cool. And they do a good job. They ship it as well. So they do have that option worth checking out. I don't know if they're comparable to what you guys are saying. What is it? East
Street Plastics.
East Street Plastics. But check out both of them. Maker Stock, East Street Plastics. Use code AWP. We don't have one, but just use it. See, maybe they'll
won't
notice.
work, but it'll be
they'll
fun to do.
notice and be like, "Oh, who's AWP? Let's look them up." So that's my 2 resources. All right, what's the other questions? We have more. Jesus. All right, next question's from Thomas. He's from France, guys.
What?
Hey guys, it's Thomas here with a question. Listen, it's a good one. What are the pros and cons of a country based on religious belief? Alright, bye.
So here's why Vatican City has the most badass woodworking community. That's a joke. He didn't actually ask that question. Here's the real question.
Just kidding. I just thought I hadn't asked anything shocking in a while. And by the way,
We're all
people,
shocked.
remember, it's just a joke. Don't go up your eyes or horses. All right, so I actually have a real question. I have done a lot of fairs this past year, and I found that products layout can really affect the look and sale at a stand. I have like 6 fairs planned for December, and I don't know what to do for my product placement. Do you test layouts in your shop before the fair, or you just wing it? And do you generally prefer to spread all types of products on the tables, or do you prefer to keep them together by types like all the cutting boards together, and or just put a little bit everywhere? All right, bye, thanks.
Dan,
Oh, I was pointing at Braden. Let him go.
Braden.
I was going to say,
Braden?
well, I set up Dan and I's setup, so no, I don't test them out. I wing it every time, and I pray that we can fit it all on there.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of prayer going into like setting up the table.
It is all hopes and dreams, and every single time it's, well, we need to bring one more table next time.
I'm bringing this much material. Well, whether we fit it, I don't know.
I think the thing is, like, we never know exactly how we're going to set the tables up, like how we're going to orient the tables themselves. So there's no way to like practice our table setups because we don't even know how we're going to set the tables up
I'm
themselves.
just imagining Braden, because this is what I do. If I have too many things, I like cutting boards, I'll put them just in a tote if they're similar enough to what's out there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, that one, that's one of a kind.
When it sells, you bring another one out.
It's a good one. Yeah, it's one of a kind. No other one. And then they buy it and they walk away and I pull out the exact same one and put it back in its spot.
Oh yeah, there's always one more thing in the back.
Yeah. Let me check in the back. But we actually have stuff.
But yeah, I mean, and here's the thing, like it would be different if we were doing a bunch of like repeatable events, like if we were doing the same farmers market or something like that, or we were doing under under a tent sort of thing, and we knew that we had a 12 by 12 footprint, we could probably do some stuff to optimize it. But we're doing stuff in
we're doing a lot of one-off stuff.
A lot of one-offs. I'm always really open to, like, I'm willing to like negotiate, lie, beg, and steal my way into better spots as well, even if they're not bigger or if they're a weird shape. If I can get better placement, I don't need a layout. I need the good space. And so we figured out later. So I think
that could be the difference between a straight table and an L table, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're a corner spot.
Yeah, we've done like a landing strip where we've got like two, or guardrails, whatever metaphor we want to use here. If you have one table in one hand and one in the
pause
other.
button on VCRs.
We've done the play button with Dan just in the middle, like Parks and Rec with the the Denmark desk or something like that. But yeah, Dan wants to be in the middle of that table setup about as much as Ron Swanson wants to be in that desk. But yeah, we wing it every single time.
We wing it, but it really comes down to what looks pleasing to the eye. We'll shuffle stuff around quite a bit before we kind of land on exactly what we want. People are going to be more attracted to your booth if not only if you have a good spot, but if it looks attractive, right? It can't just be a sloppy mess. You can't just throw stuff out and be like, well, I'm here.
Which is why Dan and I wear hot pants to every event.
Yeah.
People got to be attracted. Now, this next show might be different because we have a lot of display setups now with the whiskey smoker stuff and the demo table from...
Yeah, Brain's been up in the
game?
I can't think of the word. My brain just froze.
The one hand or the other?
No, the presentation game.
The je ne sais quoi.
Yes.
Je ne sais quoi.
The arugula, the Rwanda.
Okay.
Seinfeld.
I don't know. We've never. What is that? What is that?
It's a podcast.
Podcast. Okay.
Yeah. Seinfeld's a podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what have we all answered? Kind of, sort of.
That's Midwestern
round robin
craft
answer.
fairs.
Did Pete answer? I don't know.
No, not yet. No, I feel like I keep getting like left out. And you guys are like, next question. Like I also.
It's because your shirt's not blue.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a racist. So as far as the craft fairs go, so I've seen videos of Thomas' table setup, and I've actually gone, damn, that's a nice table. So, Toma, you're doing it right. I think he usually sets up an L shape, like an in to the tent L shape or a U shape. So you can do that. If you're ever in a place where you can only set up one table across, if it has a limit in any way, vertical. Set up something behind you. Like we have these like folding racks. I think we all have it now at this point. That the Amazon rack that like folds flat. Thing's awesome. I use it in the shop when I have large like jobs too. I just use it for material. But it sits behind you so people can still see it. If you're set up in an L shape and you only have one table, you can kind of set it off to the side. It's just a nice little thing. Anytime you can go up, like same thing with a banner. Set up your banner up high instead of hanging it off your table. Vertical is best. Like if you have cutting boards, don't lay them flat. Put them in stands. If you have like whiskey smokers, sign up for CNC with me from Hamilton Dillbeck and get the file for the whiskey smoker tower that Braden cut. Like anytime you can go vertical with this stuff, you're going to have a much better time. And I think that's the
closer you
key.
can get to eye level, the better.
Yeah. And I have tested out my layout ballpark once. We've done it multiple times for Emma for her tables. And like, so it does actually pay off. And one person that does it really well is Ashley from Ashwood and Hawk. She would literally build the booth in her driveway, like fully with the walls set up and everything, and then drive all the material and walls and everything to Pine Barren Maker Fest and do the setup there. So it was really cool. Like that was the first time I was like, wait, that's allowed. You can just set it up at your house, like pretend like you're there. So I think that's a really good way to get the layout. As far as mixing things, like I think it's good to mix a little bit of everything, but have zones. Like have your cutting boards are here, your ornaments are here, your lamps are here, because he makes like cool custom lamps. But like in between that, grab items.
Yes.
Chance.
Grab items. Little like, it's a little pen, a little bottle opener here, a little a baguette holder. I don't know what.
Yep.
Little bag of beef tallow chips.
I'm trying to relate to all the French listeners.
We do that as well. We'll set up all our bigger items and then just kind of sprinkle stuff in.
Sprinkle.
You know what my hottest selling item, just like by volume, was aside from ornaments last year when I did the fair?
Earrings.
Peter headshots?
No, I had these little boxes of flair. I just called it flair. It was all the offcuts from the ornaments that would like swirls and stars and trees, all this random garbage that I literally sprinkled on a table. It was Emma's idea. Sprinkled it on a table, and I put a bunch of it in like white little boxes, like the small shipping boxes. And they were like, "Oh, how much for that?" And I was like, $3. It's trash. $3. And they're like, I'll take 3. I'm like, what? And then they sold in like 2 hours of the weekend. All gone. Like I had like 12 boxes, all gone of just trash that I was going to throw in the fire. You know, and I made it cool.
Look, Dan scraps sell, Pete scraps sell.
Yeah.
Sell your scraps, people.
Scrap lives matter, guys.
Adam Barnett has got no idea what he's talking about.
We'd call him out. All right. Good question, Toma. Love it.
Hey, real quick, throwback. According to Applied Science, cast acrylic always has brown paper, and extruded acrylic always has a plastic cover of some sort.
That is a fantastic thing to know.
And
I had no idea.
That is awesome to know. I never knew that.
I thought I was buying cast acrylic from Menards. I'll be danged.
And just a price reference, E Street's Plastics 3/8 2-foot by 4-foot sheet is $59.99.
That's an amazing price for 3/8.
Awesome.
So there we go.
I'm telling you right now.
On air fact checks.
Wow. All right.
Wow. We're doing it live. We're doing it live.
Against the rules and fact checking anyway.
I was promised you wouldn't fact check.
All right. Next question's from Mitch Hale from Horn Dog Maps.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Mitch from Horn Dog Maps, and I had a question for you about CNCs. So I'm about to dip my feet and become one of them CNC boys, and I plan on making the things like zero clearance inserts, those measure twice, cut once signs, except you cut the E off on the end so it looks like you measured wrong, and then probably those like inlay cutting boards where it says many have eaten here but few have died. but I'll probably change it to many have died because I don't want people to visit me. Anyway, my question is about CNC power. So 110 versus 220. I am going to get a spindle. So I was thinking about, do I tap into the existing 110 that I have available to me? Or I recently found out that I have access to an empty 220 slot on my breaker box. It was for an electric oven, but I have a gas oven because I'm a man. So I ended up with this extra 220 slot. So do you think it's worth running 220 to the CNC versus just tapping into the 110 that is already there? The second question is going to be water-cooled versus an air-cooled spindle. So I do have a laser and I do have an active chiller. So that is not a problem. But in the future, within the next year, I plan on building a shop on my property. And I do not want the CNC right next to the laser. So that would mean I would need to buy a separate water chiller specifically for the CNC if I go the water-cooled route. So my question is, does water cooling actually matter? From what I can tell, it's just to make the spindle quieter because it doesn't need the air to cool it down. But do I care? Because it's a wood shop. It's going to be loud. I already have the dust collector running, and I don't have friends, so I don't have anyone to talk to anyway. So what are your thoughts on a water-cooled versus an air-cooled spindle? Anyway, let me know. Thanks.
What a good-looking question from Mitch. And I'm going to answer first.
Yeah.
So that you guys don't forget I exist.
So we don't forget you. Go ahead.
Yeah,
That's fine.
You seem to be feeling very strongly about this.
I also
kidding.
I looked up, I was smirking at some point because we were both like hand on the chin, rocking back and forth in our chair, and Dan was just like staring straight at the camera. But me and you were just like going back and forth. So first of all, 110 versus 220. I think the conversation is more important over router versus spindle. Because once you go going from router to spindle's a leap. Going from 110 to 220 spindle is a step. And it's I think if you have access to 220, go for it. I had my spindle originally was set up on I'm sorry, I was on 110 because I had the router in it. I put the 220 in right out of the gate because I was like, if I'm going to do it, let me just do it once, right once. It also costs the same. Like if you get an Amazon spindle, Dan had one, I had one. I think Braden, did you have one too? No, yeah, but like we both had one. It worked great. Actually, I still have mine on there. I still got to put my PW and CNC on there. But like those were liquid cooled spindles. They're $400 for the whole system. It takes a little bit of wiring. You have to do some soldering. There's a little hands-on stuff. If you're not afraid of that, it's a great deal. The PW and CNC one is dope because you just hook it up and you're ready to go. Like everything you need is there. You got the controller, and as far as liquid cooling versus air, I'm personally a big fan of liquid cooling. It's annoying because you need more like tubes running out of it. But the thing is, you don't need a chiller. You just need an aquarium pump. And the one that I got from Amazon was a 220 aquarium pump. I'm not running a small aquarium pump on 220. I just ended up going to Harbor Freight and I got a pond pump thing and I just hooked it up to that. Works perfectly fine. Plugged it in regular power, no issues. The other thing is, it's not just quieter. Think of it as like what's at the bottom cooling the thing. It's a fan. It's not just loud. It's blowing material. So if you're ever not running your dust collection or anything like that, it's not really, it's blowing everything all over the shop. It's on the floor, it's around the back, and if your laser's next to it, it's blowing it into the laser. That's one of the reasons I don't have air cooling on my CNC. I chose liquid cooling for that reason, because it literally cuts the material and it leaves it there. So you want some good dust collection, but it doesn't shoot it everywhere. And if you have right above it, of course I have, because I'm also stupid, so I have my AC. My HVAC is right above it. So if there's dust getting blown around, it's going right into that filter. And I don't know if you guys know, but nothing kills a mini split faster than some sawdust. That's why people build big boxes around them. So I'm a big fan of liquid cooling. The extra tubes are annoying, but you also don't need a chiller. You literally just need a bucket of water. Dan, you're a CNC boy.
I am.
What's your take?
Yeah, if you can do 220 over 110, if you have the option, absolutely do it. Because I'm not, okay, let me start this off by saying I am not an electrical expert, but from my understanding and from my past experience, 220 has more amps, right? Can handle more amperage than 110, which therefore means that your spindle won't bog down as much. It's not going to have any more power, but it won't be as susceptible to bogging down and not being able to go through material, correct?
It's more powerful. It's not
going to have more horsepower. You can't add more horsepower by going from 110 to 220, but it's going to have more
isn't a 220 spindle more
sustained power?
Isn't it more kilowatts too, or whatever the K rating is on those? I actually forget.
I believe you can get different power ratings, but the 220, I think you can get 2.8 kilowatts, but you can only get that in a 220 version.
Okay, I don't even know what a kilowatt does. I just know that it's better.
Bigger number equaled more juju.
More good.
I can tell you that my spindle does not have 121 gigawatts. I haven't got it up that high yet. What was his other question? Oh yeah, water cooled. I go water cooled for the exact same reasons that Pete does. And here's the other thing. Not only is the aquarium pump like crazy cheap and it works great, I've had mine running non-stop. I never turn it off, ever. It runs non-stop. I've replaced it once because dust did get into the bucket. But since I've replaced it, it still hasn't been turned off.
So
and
quiet.
It's been running for 6-7 months now, nonstop, 24 hours a day. Still, it works just fine.
Even if you have to, it's like at that point, it's just like a disposable part. You replace it every 6 months to a year.
It's like $35.
Yeah,
this pump is like $35 if I remember correctly. It's dirt cheap compared to everything else in my shop.
Yeah. So by the way, I did check just now. It is the spindle is the same size. It's the same kilowatt. It's just the voltage that's different. And honestly, I wish I had a better answer as far as like if one is better than the other. But
I mean, my understanding is it's similar to like a table saw. 220 is you're going to bog down less.
It's going to bog down less. That's what I understand it. Like Dan explained it by the best of all of us. Yeah. Dan's the goodest at explaining in this case.
Yeah, bigger number equal more zizzes.
More zizzes. Yeah. And it's like based on I'm just looking at the cheap, like Amazon Chinese VFD. It's $30 more to go to 220. So.
Yeah, if you have access, just do it. My table saw is 110, and I kick myself all the time for not going 220 with that thing.
Yep.
Because I'll trip the breaker more often than I care to admit. Anyway,
honestly, Braden, it's the whole buy once cry once thing. Just go higher up. You'll be happy.
Yeah, and my answer is based entirely around that because I know that Mitch does enough volume that his time is worth more than a couple of things. One, an air-cooled spindle, from what I read, I did a lot of like back and forth. It's a little bit less quiet than water-cooled, but that doesn't really matter for exactly the reasons that you said. But it's blowing air out, which causes problems, just like Pete said. But also think it's pulling air in, which means all of that dust is coming into the spindle, which gives you more wear and tear on that part as well. Water cooled, just like Pete said, a little bit extra setup, but it works flawlessly. It's perfect. In terms
of
like
keep your bucket. If you keep your bucket
seal your
enclosed,
bucket. See,
seal your bucket.
Yeah, I use silicone caulk around
Say what now?
all of. Yeah, you heard me. Around all of my entry points into my bucket. I have had no issues with clogs, and I have had no issues with sawdust getting into my bucket. In terms of, I know you guys ran the Chinese Amazon spindles, and they work fine, but the amount of time that you spend in wiring and setting them up.
Oh yeah, there's a whole lesson to do it.
Yeah, Mitch, your time is worth more than that. The
also the support
one. The Pwn CNC one is it's plug and play. I was up and running in like 20 minutes. Shameless plug. If you use code AWP, you save 5% at Pwn CNC.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's
technically not sponsored anymore.
Technically not sponsored, but the code still
worth it's worth the buy, guys.
Save that money.
This episode ain't sponsored. We have episodes in the past that are still live that are sponsored, but this episode is not sponsored.
But that's kind of my 2 cents. I'm a huge fan of just buying once, crying once, getting the best that you can, at least at that point. Because definitely don't do a router. They're loud. They sound like they're trying to break all the time. They're not designed to work in CNCs. Like the CNCs are designed to make them work, but they are not designed to run like that.
True.
So that's kind of my take on it. So, and also 220. 220 is the easy answer.
220 is life. Honestly, if you could go 222, like this episode.
220, 221.
Yeah, 222 even. Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Well, as far as whatever it takes, this is as far as whatever it took. That was a terrible transition. That's it. All the questions, guys. I'm kind of blanking. Did we choose a code phrase? We chose a code phrase, right?
I have a code phrase, but I haven't had a chance to throw it out into the world yet.
Let's throw it out into the world. I was like, wait, did we do a code phrase?
If you want to be entered for a chance to win
hang on. What's up, Braden?
Was there not a second not horrible question from Alex?
I think there was just one.
Just the one? Okay.
Just the one horrible question.
Also, he's grounded. He's officially grounded. In case we haven't made that clear.
There was only one question from Alex.
Okay,
my knowledge, and he's grounded.
Yeah. All right, back to the code phrase.
Okay, code phrase. If you want to win a ticket to the Texas Woodworking Festival November 9th and 10th in the great city of Austin, Texas.
Yeehaw.
You should send us the code phrase live fact checking to awpgiveaway@gmail.com. You will be entered for your chance to win. If you don't win a ticket and you still want to go, you can get 10% off your ticket by using the code AWP10 at checkout.
You.
That's it. That's my spiel.
AWP10 at checkout, or AWP at a lot of the other places. Honestly, anywhere you check out, it could be Kohl's, it could be American Eagle, it could be Chipotle. Use code AWP. See what it does. What's the worst that could happen?
I'd like to get these slacks. I have AWP cash.
I got
slacks
AWP
with extra guac.
I have code AWP for free guacage at all Chipotle locations. Ugh. Sir, we do not know what you're talking about.
Sir, this is a Wendy's. Jeez. I hope she plays Hot to Go. This is a AWP recording. All right. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. We are going to be taking a week off next week. No podcast. We may do a live, so stay tuned. But most likely, we always just say we are gonna. But then
let's actually commit to doing a live on the AWP IG account, because we're going to need to.
At the very least, at the very least, we will do a live on AWP podcast account. But as we both know, Dan, doing a live on Instagram is not really like the podcast, right? Like it's not quite a real live.
No, that's not. Yeah. I mean, that's not a real podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody would actually do that, though.
No, that would be silly if they did that every week.
It's at best a medium quality audio experience.
You don't have to defend it anymore. That's an ex-wife. You like just leave it.
If you want to hear the live drawing of the Texas Woodworking Festival ticket, I'm going to say that we're going to go live sometime next Thursday,
and it may or may not be
Thursday,
a full house.
the 8th. Is that
it will
8th,
be?
the 9th?
I can
7th?
guarantee that it will be absolute effing chaos. Like,
It's going to be chaos.
4 to 7 people all talking over each other with like one microphone across the room. It's going to be great.
I did get a set of new lapel mics.
I don't want your
and it comes
Daniel
with 2.
Dunlap
Comes with 2
lapel mics. Okay.
No. These are like real ones. These are not TikTok shop.
What you don't seem to understand is that more than 2 people, and then it has to be inputted into something, and then shoved into a video.
It's got a built-in mix. It's got a built-in mixer.
Mixer barely nowhere.
We will go live next Thursday.
We're gonna go live
next
next Thursday. Well, we will there will be a live. As far as like how big of a live, we'll let you guys know. We'll figure it out.
Thick. It's mostly girthy.
Yeah, we're hot to go. Anyways, we hope to see you guys all next week at the Makers Camp, and we're gonna be doing, remember, Patreon pizza party.
Deets will be going on Patreon, so if you don't have the app, download it.
Yep. We'll be throwing it up to all of our paid tier patrons. We're going to get all the information. We're going to do some kind of get together. We're playing it by ear. The plan is pizza party, maybe some beers. We'll see. Most like definitely pizza, maybe BYOB. As far as where, how long, what time, all will be decided once we're there. So it'll most likely happen sometime between Friday and Saturday. Definitely not Sunday.
Leave your schedules open.
Yeah, keep wide open, guys. Wide open.
We're like the cable guy. We'll be there between 1 and.
Listen, we're respectful of all the events at the tents. We're gonna do it in the evening, so don't worry.
Or the morning, maybe.
Maybe
morning pizza.
8 a.m.
KBC's breakfast pizza.
Saturday morning after we're all hungover from Friday.
Oh, actually, that sounds kind of good.
That sounds awful.
Just some hot, greasy pizza. Just a little hair of the
Hot
dog.
to go.
Ugh. But it's
anyway,
it's New York pizza, but it's like out in the boonies of New York. So it might as well be Chicago style deep dish, right?
My New York pizza had broccoli on it, and I was confused.
No. Can I get a side of shop sounds with that pizza? Anyways, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you all in 2 weeks or next week in person or on the live. Love you all. Bye.
Bye.
Love you long time.
Bye.